What's going on, guys? Coach Chandler here. Just want to say thanks for stopping by. And anyway, hey, let's get right to it. If you've already picked up your free copy of the 31 exercises that build muscle and burn fat at the same time, then you know one of my all-time favorite, most badass exercises that I'm in love with is going to be the pull-up. Whether I'm doing it just body weight for reps, or throwing on a weight vest or a weight belt and cranking out doubles or triples or even a single, it's a great way to build tons of size, density, and that conditioned, ripped look in your traps, in your rear delts, in your lats. And believe it or not, it's a great way, it's an old school bodybuilding trick to use pull-ups to build a big peak in your biceps. Not just that, but it creates size and density in your forearms as well, which is one of those man-making muscles. But besides that, the aesthetic improvements that you can expect to make with the pull-up, getting that jacked, ripped look, it's also going to deliver a huge bang for your buck in the strength department as well. It's a great way to really increase your overall maximal power and force output in both the bench press and the overhead press. It's because when you properly engage and utilize the pull-up, the muscles you're going to recruit are going to be the same muscles that traditionally are going to be the weak points that cause you to fail with your core lifts that I talked about earlier, the bench press and the overhead press. So not only are you going to be able to utilize this badass lift that so many people forget about, to build tons of size and density and get that ripped look that will make you look like a man beast, you're also going to create that maximal strength that will allow you to perform like one as well. So when it comes to our goals, you and me, we both know it's all about looking good while kicking ass, okay? So what I want to do today is give you an in-depth, simple approach to mastering the pull-ups, just a three-pronged approach that will allow you to really kick ass with this exercise and do it to the best of your abilities, so that, let's say, even if you can't get your first pull-up today, you can plug this program in and complete your first pull-up or even your second or third by week 2. Or let's say you can already champion probably 10 or more reps with the pull-ups. I can get you to pull even more or increase the amount of weight you can use with the weighted pull-ups. So hold tight, because I'm going to be dropping these 3 gifts on you throughout this entire video. So pay close attention. This is going to be a great one, guys. So here we go. The first thing we're going to talk about is going to be your form. Okay, so why is form so important with the pull-ups? It's important for the same reasons that form is important with the bench press, overhead press, squat, and the deadlift. It's a simple movement pattern, but there's so many muscles involved that there's very little room for error when you're trying to get the most out of the lift. And here's the thing that happens when you don't utilize good form. Number one, you're going to be leaving a lot of the immediate and long-term gains on the table, which is not what you want. First and foremost, if you are not utilizing good form, you're really operating at far less of the true strength capacity that you currently have than if you were utilizing proper form. And when you tie that into the fact that the cumulative effect of the reduction in the amount of muscle fibers that you're going to be recruiting over time, so one rep turns into a set, turns into multiple sets, turns into multiple workouts. Over time, you're going to be losing a lot of the gains that you should have and could have been getting if you just had the proper form. And not to mention what you could be leaving on the table, but also there's a lot of injury that can take place that improper form with the pull-ups can cause, specifically in your shoulders. A lot of people talk about shoulder problems with the overhead press or the bench press, but one of the other key contributing factors to shoulder injuries when you're working out is improper form with the pull-ups. So form is something I can't stress enough. It's the number one thing you need to focus on when doing your pull-ups, and I can assure you this. I've seen it to where some people that say they can't do a pull-up, whenever they master these form tricks, they are able to do even a couple, 1, 2, or even 3 pull-ups right off the bat. So number one, first and foremost, we need to master the form. So what I'm going to do right now is post a really quick video that shows improper form. And I want you to see if you can spot where the form is mucked up and what you can do to improve it. All right, I know it's kind of a subtle form break, but ultimately what you saw in that video is the fact that the elbows were pointed straight out and you didn't have any upper back tightness that will allow you to properly engage your back. So what we're gonna do to fix that so that you can recruit the muscle fibers and the muscle groups that are really going to allow you to operate at full muscular capacity right now is going to be this. I want you to rotate your elbows in and push your chest up. Do that while keeping a nice tight upper back, and when you do that, that's automatically going to put you in position to where it's far easier to recruit the muscle fibers that you want and the muscle groups that you want to execute the pull-up properly. Now, that's just going to put you in position. The next thing I want you to do is going to be focusing in on your cue. Now, the cue is this. That's what's going to kind of, it's that verbal or mental cue in your head that allows you to tell yourself what to do in order to do it. So what I always tell myself to do in order to engage the pull-up is to pull my elbows down. I'm not telling myself to pull up. I'm telling you to pull your elbows down. And when you do that and you push your chest up, those two things will allow you to better utilize your lats and your rear delts and your traps as well. Those are far bigger muscle groups than just your biceps, which are typically going to be what's recruited when you're doing it the improper way with your elbows out. So check out the form that I utilize in this next video, and you're going to see proper form that you'll see the elbows rotated in, the chest pointed up, and you're going to see me drive my elbows down, into my pocket. That's what I tell people to do. Drive them down into your pocket so that it better engages the muscles that are going to be responsible for a far more effective pull-up. Okay, so we've mastered our form with the pull-up. Now what we need to do with our second prong approach is going to be mastering the progressions necessary for you to be able to start doing your own pull-ups. So let's say you can't do a pull-up yet. Mastering your form is going to help, but if you're just not strong enough, then you're not going to be able to obviously complete a pull-up. What these progressions will do is they will take you step by step through what you need to do in order to go from not being able to do a pull-up to being able to do a pull-up. So let's get on that. I need to get a couple things ready for the power rack, but ultimately this is going to be your step-by-step guide that will take you from not being able to do a pull-up to doing them at will. Okay, so obviously if you can't do a single pull-up, you need to do something that will allow you to use that same movement pattern but assist you throughout. Now there's going to be multiple machines out there that assist you in this process, but there's one that's far better and far cheaper that I've found that will allow you to get through this movement pattern in the same way you would if you just did a regular pull-up. And what it is just the simple jump stretch band. All right, the same bands we utilize for powerlifting for accommodating resistance will actually give you great band assistance for this exercise. So what I want you to do first and foremost though is focus on whenever you're trying to attempt your pull-up, number one, you need to focus on doing it when you're fresh. So right in the beginning of your workouts, in order to test yourself out, that's when you want to really dial it in. But all right, with that said, let's get on the band and show you how you can utilize this tool to get you through your first type of pull-up, which is going to be the band assisted. All right, so what we have here is a pretty strong band. All right, when you're first starting out, if you're pretty weak, you want to start with a stronger band that will give you more assistance. Now, what this is going to do, it's going to really give you assistance at the bottom and not much at the top. So what I'm going to tell you to do is start, depending upon your level of strength, with a stronger band and put your whole foot in there, and then move into putting just your knee in there until you're strong enough. Okay, so first things first, let's show you how to do the band assisted pull up with your foot in there. So your leg's going to be really locked out and you are getting a ton of assistance throughout the whole process. Again, this is just the simplest base way to start the progression. If you're too strong for that, it's one of those things where you just can't get that final oomph for the pull-up, then go for a smaller band and just put your knee in there. But ultimately, if you're having a lot of trouble, then a stronger band like that one with your foot all the way in the band is going to be your best bet to start with. Utilize that for probably a week or two, doing it every day into your workout right in the beginning, and progress to number one, progress to just doing it with your knee. And then when that becomes easy, you can get a couple reps with them. That's when you go to a lighter band, one with less tension that gives you less assistance throughout the whole range of motion. Same thing, once that becomes easy, go with just the knee in there until ultimately you get to where you can do our next progression that we'll talk about in the next video. So I'm going to show you real quick how to do the first progression, which is having your entire foot in there. So we're going to have that. We're going to strengthen or we're going to stretch our leg all the way down. We're going to drop down the pull-up bar, and we're going to come all the way up. Don't swing, stay nice and tight, elbows tucked, pull your elbows down. Remember, that's the key for proper form, proper muscular recruitment. Again, when that becomes easy, you can do multiple reps with that style. The next progression is going to be having our knee in there. It's going to give a little less assistance. Same thing though, control the motion, stay nice and tight, squeeze the bar, elbows tucked, chest up, pull your elbows down. Again, when that becomes easy, that's when you move to a lighter band, okay? Then do the same process until ultimately we're going into the next progression, which are going to be jumping pull-ups. All right, so after we've mastered the ability to do probably 3 to 5 pull-ups with a low tension band with our knee inside the band instead of our foot, that's when we want to start getting into the last progression before being able to do your regular pull-up, which is going to be the the jumping pull-up. So I'm going to show you this real quick. It's very simple to use. All you're going to need is like a little stool or a platform that allows you to jump from while doing this exercise. So real quick, once you're able to, same thing, do about 3 to 5 of these. That's when you want to test yourself and do a pull-up of your own, and make sure, like I said, to do those when you're fresh. So I'm going to show you this jumping pull-up real quick. The only notes to really focus on with these are number one, initiate the lift with the jump, obviously, and you're going to jump more forcefully in the beginning when you're a little less strong in that movement pattern, and when you get stronger with it, jump less and less and utilize more of your absolute strength with the pull-up in that movement pattern to propel yourself up to the bar. And other than that, I also want to note, whenever you're doing a set of these, one of the tricks I use to not just build strength, but a lot of size as well, is to focus on lowering very slow, because let's face it, the eccentric portion of any lift, the lowering, is going to be what really stimulates a lot of growth. So not just building strength here, we're also trying to throw on some good size, shape, and muscularity as well. So what you'll notice if you're doing like a set of 2 or 3 of these, whatever you get, during that last rep, focus on going as slow as absolutely possible, all the way to lockout at the bottom. So what you're going to see me do is start with just doing a regular rep, and then the second rep I'm going to go very slow to show you the eccentric portion of the lift that will allow you to not just build a lot of strength, but a lot of size and muscularity as well. So let's get on it right now. See, I've got a little plywood box right here. If I reach up and I stand up, I'm going to be, my arms are slightly bent. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to initiate the movement with a jump. Going to lower down. And let's say this is the last one. I'm exhausted after this one. This is going to be the one where I lower very slowly to maximize the eccentric portion of the lift and build some size and muscularity. So jump, hold, slow, slow, slow. Just like that. It's going to be a great way to build a lot of muscularity and size, as well as build more of the strength that you need in order to do your first pull. All right, one of the quick things I want to talk about with progression as well, bonus note, is this. One of the progressions that so many people think is being effective, but really serves no purpose, and there's no real strong correlation between that and any maximal strength required to complete a pull-up, is the notion that holding it at the top for as long as you can is going to build anything other than just isometric strength. Or, it's not really going to do much of anything at all for your ability to increase a maximal strength for the pull-up. So as far as that being a part of your progression for being able to complete your first pull-up, just doesn't serve much of a purpose. If anything, I like doing them with fat grips. As a finisher, that's going to really increase your grip strength. But other than that, it's not really going to do anything to get you stronger with that particular movement pattern, which is just a very, very simple movement pattern. So if you're going to increase your strength with the pull-up in order to be able to do one or to be able to do more of them, then the best bet is to focus on maximizing the efficiency of the movement itself, as well as following the progressions that we discussed earlier and getting through that movement pattern as many times as you can. That's going to be your key, not any static holds or any isometric holds that will really honestly get you nowhere other than burning some calories and maybe developing some hand strength. But anyway, other than that, those are going to be your progressions. Like I said, just to recap, start with your foot all the way locked out and locked in to a strong band. Work your way doing 3 to 5 reps of those. Once you can get more of them, graduate to putting your knee in that same band, doing the same thing, 3 to 5 reps. Then once you are good with that, work your way into a smaller band that gives you less assistance. All right, same thing, work 3 to 5 with your foot in there, then your knee, all the way down into where you don't have a band that you can utilize that will give you band assistance. That's when you start doing the jumping pull-ups. Again, with those, start with having more of a forceful jump to assist you on the way up, but gradually challenge yourself and get to where you have to jump far less in order to initiate the pull-up or the completion of the pull-up itself. That's what's going to allow you to progress from not being able to do a single pull-up into being able to do your first and then multiple pull-ups afterwards. As far as any other progressions go, I haven't really heard of any that have been of note, but for the most part, that's going to be your best bet to go from not being able to do one to being able to do your first and multiple afterwards. The next thing we're going to talk about are the exercises that you can do after starting your pull-up workout. So testing yourself in the very beginning when you're fresh we talked about how important that is. Let's say after you do those band assisted and you've maxed out with those, afterwards what we want to do is strengthen the muscles that are necessary for you to be able to do the pull-ups. So doesn't matter how good your form is, like I said, if you're just not strong enough, it's just not going to matter. So after we master our form and focus on the progressions, the last thing we have to focus on is strengthening the muscles that are responsible for you to be able to do the pull-up itself. So what I want to do, the last thing, is focus on all the different exercises that we pump into our program that will strengthen your ability to be able to do your first pull-up and then multiple afterwards. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to talk about is the inverted row. I've got rings set up, but if you don't have rings, no big deal. You can go to a Smith machine or go to a power rack and lay a bar across these stoppers, and you'll have all you need in order to do the inverted row. So show you how to do this real quick. Grab the bar nice and tight, or the rings in this case. Push your chest up, squeeze as hard as you can, accelerate up by driving your elbows down. Slow and control on the way down. Explode up, slow control on the way down. All right, again, these are going to be a great way to recruit the muscles, the same muscles that are recruited and needing to be recruited for the pull-ups. So great way to recruit the traps, the rear delts, the lats, the biceps, and the forearms as well. All very needed and necessary for you to be able to complete your first pull-up. So a great way to really increase the strength in those muscles, as well as to recruit them for building size as well. So getting two big bangs for your buck. The next two exercises I want to talk about that are really going to boost your chances of nailing that first pull-up are going to be both the barbell row and the dumbbell row. Both of these are great compound exercises that are not just going to really increase your odds of nailing that first pull-up, but also really increase the strength of the muscles that are responsible for giving you a bigger bench and a bigger overhead press as well. So again, you're increasing strength for both of those, as well as building a ton of size and density in your back and your rear delts and traps as well. So first thing I'm going to do is the barbell row. Feet tucked right underneath my hips. I'm going to push my knees out, push my butt back, chunk the bar. You see my upper body is nice and tight. My chest is up. What I'm doing is I'm engaging the movement by pulling my elbows straight back and pulling the bar into my belly. With the dumbbell variation, what you're going to do, I see a lot of people putting their knee on the bench. That's fine if you want to do that. What I like to do, increase a little core strength as well at the same time. I like to just, have a good wide stance, grab the dumbbells, stay nice and tight. Main thing is this: you just have a nice tight core, so it's not crushing your lower back with both of those. So keep your chest up, abs nice and tight. Pull, initiate the movement by pulling your elbow back. That's what's going to give you the ability to recruit the proper muscle groups for each of these types of row. All right, guys, so there you have it. That is everything you need to know in order to master the pull-up and make it an extremely strong weapon in your arsenal, in your bag of tricks to develop that jacked, ripped physique that you want. Do these things that I talked about, mastering your form, the progressions, and the exercises, and I can assure you, you're going to start to see insane strength gains and size gains in your traps, your rear delts, your rhomboids, your lats, and by the way, a huge peak in your biceps as well. So plug those in, see what results you get, let me know about them. Hey, if you want any more videos like this, you want me to go into great depth about certain exercises that you want me to kind of break down for you, let me know by leaving a comment in the section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe and pick up your free gift above. It's going to highlight the 31 exercises that you need to plug in today in order to build stacks of size and density while getting you ripped to shreds in the process. Appreciate your time, guys. Have a good one. Manly out.